Hey, this is Joe with Grow It Build It, and today we're going to talk about the Chelsea Chop. Alright, so this is going to be a short video discussing the Chelsea Chop. The Chelsea Chop is a good method to help control certain plants' height and keep them upright, and generally avoiding this. And we'll be covering the following topics. What is the Chelsea Chop? How to do it, and the considerations you should have. I'll show you its effectiveness year over year and side by side. When you should perform the Chelsea Chop, and then finally a list of plant types that can be pruned back by half. Okay, so let's take a closer look. Okay, so the Chelsea Chop is a method in which you cut back taller plants, often perennials, by 1/3 to half their height before they bloom or even before flower buds form. Doing so will make the overall plant shorter, as well as reduce the chances of the plant flopping over or tipping over due to wind, storms, or just from reaching for the sun. You know, if you think about the physics, by shortening the height, you are shortening the torque or weight of the flower heads can exert on the base of the stem, as well as moving the center of gravity closer to the base, and both of these things will reduce the chances of a plant flopping over in a storm or by reaching for the sun. Now, this will delay blooming by several weeks, but that is the only real trade-off compared to having a plant that flops over. Okay, so how to do it? Well, there's two primary methods for doing it. Method one is just a straight shear cut horizontally. And to do it, you simply go to your plant and cut the stalk 1/3 to halfway down. If you're mostly concerned with the plant leaning or flopping over, then cut it by half. Just make sure some leaf junctions remain after the cut. Now, to see how effective it is, look here. This is one of my beds with the false sunflower and gray-headed coneflower. Both are arching and leaning and flopping all over the place, and they generally look really bad. So the following year I cut the stalks back before they bloomed, and here's the same bed the next year. After the Chelsea Chop, they're standing up and they look great. Alright, and if you guys are liking to see this before and after results, just give me a thumbs up down below, please. I really appreciate it. Method 2, cascading. An alternative method to the straight cut is to cascade the stalks. So instead of just cutting in a flat line, we will do so at a diagonal line, but leaving the center most blooms untouched, or the furthest back most blooms untouched. So you kind of do it in 3 tiers, cutting the first row back by half, the second by 1/3, and leaving the black ones untouched. I often do this on my Lanceleaf Coreopsis, and this is a clip from my video a few years ago showing exactly that. But it works, it helps it hold them up. So most perennials bloom for a few weeks a year and then they are done. But by doing this cascading Chelsea Chop, you will be delaying blooming on the ones you cut by several weeks. So you're actually going to be prolonging the blooming period or super bloom period by that much time. And this can sometimes make a flower arrangement look even better in that you can almost get a wall of blooms. Alright, so when do you need to do the Chelsea Chop? Well, the best time is about 4 to 6 weeks before a flower blooms, or when the plant has reached 1/2 to 2/3 of its expected overall height. For most summer blooming perennials, this is between mid-spring and the beginning of summer. But the name originated in England, and it was a reference to when you should prune your perennials, as in prune them before the Chelsea Flower Show. Now, that only pertains to England's climate and wouldn't make sense in sunny Florida or California, for example. You know, for me in Zone 6, June 1st is a good target date. The key thing, though, is to not do it before a plant blooms or flower buds. This is important. If the flower buds have formed or it's already blooming, then you might be too late, and performing the Chelsea Chop then may result in no blooming at all. So sorry for my thumbnail for this video. I did it for attention, not that I would actually be Chelsea chopping blooming flowers, because that's not what you want to do. Alright, so what plants can you do this to? Well, I have a long list of flower types at my website where you can do the Chelsea Chop, and I'm showing it to you here. But you may want to click on the link below in the description to my article and bookmark it for a quick reference later. There are many common flowers that respond well to it, such as anise hyssop, asters, bellflowers, bee balms, anything in the Monarda genus. Coreopsis, black-eyed Susans, lavender, ironweed, jopieweed, phloxes. There's a whole lot. But alright, that's all I've got for you today. This was just a short video describing the Chelsea Chop and showing you how effective it can be for controlling the height and preventing the flopping or leaning. So if you have any questions, ask them in the comments below, and if I missed any flowers that you can do this to, let me know there too. Alright, you guys all have a good one.